got 15 of the most upvoted Am I the A-hole Reddit stories for the month of April. In this series, I collect the best stories for the month and put them all in one video for you so that you can enjoy the best stories chosen by Reddit. Normally, the way this series goes is there's a lot of repeat stories just by the nature of me reading a lot of Reddit stories, but actually 14 of the 15 stories are brand spanking new. So this is pretty much just a brand new video with brand new stories. As usual, everything is timestamped below if you do feel like skipping around for any reason. I apologize, you guys. This video is way later than I usually like to come out with these, but I've been super busy with a move right now. If you've been in my streams, you probably heard me say it, but I want to say it in a video. For the next 2 weeks, my streams, my uploads are kind of going to be irregular and probably not as frequent as they usually are. All that I ask is that you bear with me. I'm doing my absolute best to get through this move, and once the move is done, I should be back to regularly scheduled uploads for you guys. I appreciate you. Let's lock in here and read some Reddit. Am I the a-hole for demanding to go through my brother-in-law and his girlfriend's bags if they are staying with us? Background: I have a pretty severe dairy allergy. I break out in hives, struggle to breathe, and have to carry 2 EpiPens with me everywhere. If I get any dairy in my system, I end up in the ER. My in-laws know this, and I've been extremely accommodating since my fiance and I started dating 5 years ago. When we moved in together 2 years ago, we set strict rules for our home because of my allergy. The big one is that no one is allowed to bring anything that contains dairy into our house ever, no matter what. On to the current story. My brother-in-law started dating his girlfriend a year and a half ago. They came to visit us together for the first time a year ago. My fiance made sure my brother-in-law explained my allergy to his girlfriend and our no dairy rule. 2 days into their stay, she bought dairy products and cooked lunch for herself when we weren't home. I ended up in the ER because of cross-contamination. She apologized and explained she hadn't understood how serious my allergy was. We managed to put the situation behind us since both my fiance and I currently have and want to keep a good relationship with my brother-in-law. So what you're telling me is that even though he explained, maybe not well, that he was allergic to dairy and that there was a specific no dairy rule, you're telling me she was either so stupid or so negligent or just didn't give a fuck about the rules that you have set up for your house or your allergy, that she just chose to, oh, oopsie, I didn't understand how bad your allergy was. I don't buy it. I don't think OP should have put the situation behind them. I don't trust this woman. And I would be like telling my fiance, like, yo, you got to tell your brother-in-law to break up. Like, I'm thinking of my brother-in-law. If I started dating a girl and she pulled this shit on my brother-in-law or on my sister, I would be fucking furious. That would be breakup worthy. Of like, you were clearly told not to bring dairy into this household and you did anyways. Like, either I massively fucked up or this person is just an asshole who does not care about other people. The two of them came for a second visit 9 months ago. We had a video call with brother-in-law and his girlfriend before the trip to make sure she understood the severity of my allergy and how serious we are about the no dairy rule. During their second trip, I was taking out the trash and found candy bar wrappers and an empty milkshake container in the guest room trash, the room she was staying in. Even after she saw how serious my allergy is and how I ended up in the ER, she still brought dairy into our house. I confronted her when they got back. She and brother-in-law had a huge fight. Brother-in-law went through her stuff and threw out everything she had with dairy. We kicked out his girlfriend. Brother-in-law stayed for the rest of the planned trip. Damn, okay, so the brother-in-law knows she's a fucking moron. Come on. Like, really? You can't find yourself a girl who isn't this fucking idiotic? Brother-in-law and his girlfriend worked out the relationship after the trip and are still together. Since their second trip, brother-in-law has come alone since I don't trust his girlfriend in our house. Well, brother-in-law is planning a new trip to visit us, and his girlfriend wants to come too. At first, we just said no, we don't trust her. But since we know this is important to brother-in-law, we came up with what we believe is a good compromise. She can come and stay at our place, but we will look through her bags every time she comes back to our place. Oh, okay, I see. She can come and stay at our place, but we will look through her bags every time she comes back to our place. And if she doesn't accept that, she can stay at a hotel or stay home. Now I'm being called an a-hole for treating her like a criminal and that checking her bag is an invasion of privacy. Bitch, you lost the privilege of having privacy when you took dairy into their household 2 separate times when told not to, and after seeing how fucking terrible it was for the guy who owns the house. Absolutely not. What a fucking loser. So am I the a-hole for demanding to go through her bag if she's staying at my house? No, that's your house, bro. If it's your house and you want to search everybody's bag who comes through your house, like, they can either let you search through their bag or get the fuck out. It's probably a stupid rule, but it's your house, your rules. Not the a-hole, and your brother-in-law needs to fucking break up with her. That would be so unattractive, Chad. I don't get it. Are you that down bad? Like, the sex better be fucking incredible for you to want to stay with this girl. She better be fucking doing 720 tricks on it, all right? Like, I mean, she did attempt murder. No, actually, though, you need to cut them off and anybody who sides with them, because that's fucking brutal. If she had killed OP, wouldn't that have been considered involuntary manslaughter? I think there would be a solid case for that, chat. Is there such thing as an attempted involuntary manslaughter? I don't know. Genuinely, like, she dead ass kind of attempted that shit. That's crazy, man. Am I the a-hole for calling my husband a disgrace after he said my miscarriage ruined his birthday? Advice needed. I miscarried yesterday afternoon around 12 p.m. I've never had a miscarriage before, and this baby was so wished for, so it's all so fresh, and I'm sobbing right now. So I apologize in advance if it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. My husband turned 27 yesterday. I, 26 female, was pregnant with mine and my husband's 27 male second child. Yesterday, I was 8 weeks pregnant. The day before yesterday, we saw a beautiful heartbeat flicking on the screen, and today, I'm devastated. I was playing with our 2-year-old when I felt pressure in my lower abdomen. Not long later, I noticed bleeding, and I let my husband know immediately that I had discomfort and bleeding. Before long, I had passed what I believe is the fetus, and I messaged him, I think I lost the baby. I wanted to keep him updated, and I guess I was seeking some kind of emotional support. I asked if he could come home, and he said, of course, if it's urgent. If it's urgent, she just said, I think I lost the baby. How is that not urgent? In what universe is that not urgent? I said, I think it is because the pain and bleeding is getting worse and I'm starting to feel lightheaded, and our 2-year-old is unattended in his playroom right now. We have no friends or family near that I could call who would get to us quicker than he could. I had to clean myself up, crawl downstairs to take paracetamol, make my son his lunch, and then put him down for a nap. At this point, my husband still isn't home. He was working approximately 30 minutes away and took closer to 60 minutes to get back. Hours later, when I asked, it was because he'd stopped at Tesco to pick up some beers. Straight to the garbage. Get rid of the whole man. I ended up very poorly, losing lots of blood, lightheaded, vomiting, etc. And he had to take me to the emergency room. By the time I was discharged, it was almost 8 p.m. Last week, I had said I'd make him his favorite dinner for his birthday, which he reminded me when we were almost home. I said I wasn't feeling up to it and that whatever takeout he wants is on me. He said, for fuck's sake, under his breath, and then muttered something along the lines of, this bullshit has ruined my birthday. Yeah, dude, because that's the priority right now. He didn't stop to get any takeout. He just drove straight home. He put our son to bed and I went to bed, and I'm not sure what he did after. I didn't see him this morning as he had already left for work. He's not messaged me all day, and he got home a few hours ago. It's now 8:40 p.m., and he's been giving me silent treatment. I tried to speak to him about an hour or so ago, and he ignored me, and I called him a disgrace. He slammed the bedroom door and locked me out of the bedroom. His mom has since messaged me and said, I need to be patient as he's also had a loss. Girl, that does not seem like what he's mad about right now. His loss is that he didn't get to celebrate his birthday when his fucking wife just miscarried their baby. What do you mean he's also had a loss? She didn't ask how I was or anything. He's obviously speaking to his mom, but why isn't he opening up and speaking to me? She said I was harsh? The fuck? I'm sorry, y'all. Don't get me wrong. A miscarriage is traumatic to the father, too. If for some reason he actually is mad and he's just vocalizing it through something else, I guess his birthday. But either way, I think, and maybe this is the inner man hater in me, but I think that the priority is the woman who just had a miscarriage, was bleeding, vomiting, had to go to the hospital, and also passed her fetus out of her vagina, bro. Like, I'm sorry. You are not the priority, bro. Don't get me wrong, your feelings are important and you should definitely address them. But at that moment, your wife is the one who you cater to. But honestly, y'all, I severely doubt he actually gives a shit about that. I truly think he probably is like, well, this ruined my birthday. Wee woo. Oh no, woe is me, my poor birthday. I'm feeling utterly emotionally neglected right now. My body has been through emotional and physical hell. I understand that my miscarriage came at a fucking inconvenient time for him, as it was his birthday and all. I'm not sure if it's the hormones making me feel crazy, but is it nuts to contemplate divorce? Am I the a-hole for calling him a disgrace? No, girl. Listen, I'm sure this man was exhibiting red flags before. If these are the only red flags he's exhibiting, I think divorce is totally merited. It hurts me to know that this man has a child because he in himself is a fucking child. The way that he went about this situation is unacceptable. I know it's hard, and maybe he truly is just deflecting and saying that he's upset about his birthday or whatever, but either way, his actions and the way he's acting is not okay in this situation. I don't think there's any excuse for the absolute assery this man is putting on. Like, how will he be supporting his kid through tough times and losses? Exactly. Sorry, I'll plan my miscarriage better next time. No, for real. Like, what a fucking asshole, bro. She does need to divorce this man. Like, he really did show his true colors. You do not want a partner who's gonna fucking be this much of a little bitch when, like, something serious happens to you. Absolutely diabolical behavior. Y'all, I'm curious about this update. Please tell me you divorced his fucking bitch ass. Update came 3 days after the original post. I should have clarified in my original post from last week that the way my husband responded was completely out of character for him. He's usually a caring and supportive man and is a good husband and father. The only incident where he's shown any kind of red flags was when I put together an accent chair. I used a screwdriver to attach the legs to the seat, and when he came home from work and saw that I'd done it myself, he jumped on it until it broke to show that I didn't do it properly and that I should have waited for him to come home. That's honestly worse. Like, for him to be acting so caring and supportive, but then 180s and just... Oh, wait, hold on. Let me keep reading, actually. He'd been under lots of stress at work, so I asked him to go to therapy, which he did, instead of pulling the divorce card straight away. We have been together for 7 years in May, and he's the only partner I've ever known. My family all loves him and have accepted him from day one. Okay, so what I'm getting from this paragraph is he's a loving, caring, supportive man, good husband, good father, but when he endures any kind of stress, he acts like an immature asshole. Honestly, y'all, fucking I'll say it. I think she should have pulled the divorce card when he did this shit. Like, good for him for going to therapy, but A, clearly this isn't working, and B, I think how you act under stress to your partner says a lot about you as a person. Like, if you get stressed and you take it out on your partner, you're not ready for a relationship. High key hot take. Maybe this is just my perspective on relationships and how they should work, but genuinely, if you get stressed and your response is to treat your partner like shit, there is something wrong with you. When you're stressed, you should go to your partner for relief. You should go to your partner to healthfully be able to relieve that stress. If you get stressed and start treating your partner poorly, that is a problem. There is a clear issue there that you need to work on. That might be a hot take, but I think that is red flag behavior personally. The stress isn't the exception. It means he doesn't have the energy to keep his mask up. That's what I'm thinking. Don't get me wrong. I understand stress and like lashing out by like yelling at them a little bit or something like that. But if you're stressed and you're fucking cruel to your partner and you're not able to be like, okay, I'm stressed right now. I just lost my child to a miscarriage, but my wife had to actually go through the process of like pushing a dead fetus out of her body and like bled, vomited, had to be taken to the hospital. If you can't understand that like she's the priority and that you need to handle your stress on your own and be there for your partner, and then on top of that as well, his reaction to her I lost the baby is just inexcusable. No matter what kind of stress he's going through, I think that's a bad partner. You do not want someone there who's going to treat you like shit when they're stressed. I also should have clarified, yes, I know he was an a-hole in that scenario. I wasn't questioning that. What I was questioning was whether I took it a step too far in calling him a disgrace. He's going through a lot at work at the moment. It was his birthday. I'd been messaging him and telling him that I'd miscarried his child, and he had to leave work early. And then I called him a disgrace after he'd taken me to the hospital and was responding to the grief in his own way. I think the majority of people said I was not the a-hole in this scenario, and due to his behavior that my insult was justified. Thank you to everyone who reached out and checked in, offered condolences and emotional support. I've read all my messages and tried to read most of the comments. Most of them have been very kind and useful and have helped a lot over the past few days. I had a scan yesterday which confirmed that everything is passed successfully. Some people may remember that I was very worried about retained tissue due to my fever over the weekend. Also, my tonsillitis is fully cleared up, so I'm feeling almost back to normal physically. I left my husband. Me and my son are staying with family in a different part of the country, so we are safe and are managing. My husband did get very angry when I told him that I was leaving him. He tried to stop me from leaving with our son, put hands on me, and threatened to end his life. I mean, bro, this man is just a walking red flag. That was his moment to show remorse and feel sorry for how he was acting. My mom intervened, and like I said, we are safe. I have some time off work now, so I will continue to take time to recover emotionally and plan my next steps. Thank you if you read this far. I doubt there will be any more updates after this. I mean, I'm glad she left. That was red flag city. There were so many red flags there. I think she made the right move. If someone threatens to K-word themselves in a way to manipulate you, you just say, do it and walk out. It sucks if they actually were to do it, but like putting that on another human being is the highest, worst form of manipulation. Highest form. You should not let them manipulate you like that. That is never something that I think anybody should hold on their conscience, even if they follow through with it, because that is not your responsibility. It is not your responsibility to stay in an abusive situation with somebody who's willing to manipulate you like that. When he put his hands on me, he actually put his hands around my neck and was choking me, which was what is terrifying. Choking in an abuse situation is the number one indicator they will kill you. Oh, that actually kind of makes sense. I understand like work being stressful, but I don't think any amount of stress justifies his actions. Even just the jumping on the chair. That's not only mean, but that's like cruel. I think like healthy reactions to stress aren't taught. I think a lot of people are taught by their parents that when they're under stress, the reaction to that is to like be an asshole. When like, don't get me wrong, like I understand being an asshole just because you're like overstimulated, you're stressed, whatever, but it shouldn't be to a cruel extent. And this one was definitely cruel. Am I the a-hole for bringing a much older guy to Easter dinner after my dad left my mom for someone close to my age? Oh my God. I, 18 female, moved out at 15 when I got into a boarding school abroad. When I was 12, my dad, 45 male, cheated on my mom, 43 female, with a woman, 26 female, who was 20 at the time. They ended up divorcing and he's been with her ever since. She's only a few years older than me, and for the past few years, she's been at every family holiday. She's clearly only after his money, but he's too stupid and stubborn to understand. This year for Easter, I flew back home and asked a friend of mine, 38 male, to come with me and pretend to be my boyfriend just for a few days at my home. If it's just solely pretend, I'm actually kind of down for this. If we're just here to fuck with the dad, maybe I can get behind it. As long as no hanky-panky weird shit is happening. That's kind of fucking funny. After dinner, my dad pulled me aside and told me that he felt uncomfortable with the situation. I told him I didn't do anything wrong and that, after him, love has no age. He told me that I ruined everyone's Easter by being selfish and bringing someone his age to dinner. I flew back to school, but now I'm getting messages from a few relatives saying I should apologize to my dad and break up with my boyfriend. I haven't responded. I don't think I'm in the wrong because he's made my life uncomfortable since the moment he cheated on my mom. If they were actually dating, I would maybe be like, you know what? We gotta have another conversation, girl. But if it's for shits and gigs, not real, and you just wanted to fuck with your dad, he deserved it. He deserved it 100%. And honestly, like, as much as he's probably fucking stupid, he probably is at least starting to be like, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Maybe, just maybe, I wasn't cooking. Yeah, I'm gonna go with not the a-hole. I mean, you could maybe argue that it's still like fucked up for her to pretend or whatever, but I think as long as the pretend is real, it's perfectly fine and honestly funny as fuck. Like, give that bitch a taste of his own medicine. It sounds like OP needs to go no contact with his entire family, bro. Especially if he cheated. Like, honestly, girl, I don't even know why you're still seeing your dad if he cheated like that. Like, fuck your dad. Edit. Seems like many think it's a lie, lol. I would too, but I met my friend in a book club when I moved to the US. I'm from Europe, and he's been a great father figure for me, to be honest. When I had no friends there, he would buy me dinner and actually spend time with me, and he's recently divorced from his sweetheart, so he would have spent Easter alone anyways. Therefore, decided to take him with and show him around. For reference, I didn't say half of the bad things my dad did, or the whole story. It would have been too long, but trust me, cheating isn't the only thing he did. I know this is immature, people. I know it's extremely immature of me. No, it's extremely immature of him to cheat on his wife with a 20-year-old at the age of 43. I'm sorry, bro. Like, until this dad proves that he deserves mature actions and reactions from his daughter, which he hasn't, I say the daughter can do whatever the fuck she wants. The daughter's 18. Why are we expecting an 18-year-old to be more mature than a 43-year-old man? Just shut the fuck up. If you're in the comments like, oh, that's immature, just leave. You're wrong. I know it's extremely immature of me, but I wanted to show him how it feels. Thanks a lot for the advice, everyone. I'll update for Christmas, LOL. Someone remind me, if you see that Christmas post, send it my way. Am I the a-hole for getting my coworker fired for his repeated visible dick print? I, 19 female, am interning part-time and we all dress casually. I was alone in a room at my office one morning and my coworker Josh, late 20s, male, came and started chatting with me. When I turned to face him, I could clearly see the outline of his erection. He was wearing thin sweatpants and they left nothing to the imagination. I didn't say anything. After he left, I just went back to work. I ignored it that first time, but it kept happening. Josh would come alone to chat, and each time he was visibly hard and I could see it through his flimsy shorts or sweatpants or thin dress pants. Like, he didn't even act embarrassed or try to hide it. He'd just stand there like it's nothing. He acts normal around everyone else, and this hasn't happened any other time I've seen him, not with others around. Just when it's only us. I understand that every once in a while, dudes just be getting boners and you gotta hide that shit. But when it's repeatedly happening and only happening to you, that has to be sexual harassment, sexual assault. I don't even know. Like, that's crazy. Honestly, I hope she records it. I feel like this is one of those crazy situations where you need documentation because that's actually fucking crazy work. I didn't bring it up to anyone yet. I just didn't want to appear dramatic and didn't want to make myself a target. Then he started making comments. It's hot out. I had to wear these shorts today. One day, Josh came over and he asked me to come to his apartment nearby over lunch. I politely declined, and as he was leaving, he said, "All right, I've got to go to the bathroom to take care of something. See you around." Girl, you gotta start recording all your conversations with him because that's fucked. Inviting you over to their apartment and saying that shit. Oh my God. Okay, so he said that while glancing down. He clearly had an erection and the outline was clear. That was it for me. I went to HR and reported everything. HR put Josh under review and he ended up being fired with cause. Now some of my coworkers are icing me out. One of my coworkers sarcastically muttered out, "I made sure to wear proper pants today. Didn't want anyone to get any ideas." While I was having lunch near some of them and they laughed. My boss has just been talking to me less and I feel alienated. I just wanted Josh to stop. Am I the a-hole here? Yeah, girl, you gotta get a new job if you're surrounded by these fucking people that are like, oh man, this dude was getting a boner around her and then asking her to go to his apartment and also insinuating that he would fucking stroke his shit in the bathroom where you work. Hey man, I would not blame the girl there. I would blame the dude who thinks it's okay to brandish his erection in front of a woman in your workplace. Stupid. All of them. Dumb. Fucking brain dead. Yeah, not the a-hole. Get a new job and write a Glassdoor review that was like, not only did I have to put up with this shit, but then I had to put up with people who were not on my side when that shit happened. Just ill, bro. But also, she's barely a legal age. Yeah, that age gap goes crazy. Late 20s, so like past 25, 26 plus, and they're 19 female. Oh, God. Castration. Legalize castration, chat. Once again, like, I think it does go around education. Make sure dudes know, like, that's not how you hit on women. You compliment them. You ask them out on a nice day. You treat them nice. Like, you don't walk up with a fucking erection. I mean, that's on some, like, Reddit incel shit, for real. Am I the a-hole for refusing to do my boyfriend's laundry after he told his mom I don't do anything around the house? So I, 26 female, live with my boyfriend, 28 male. We've been together for 3 years, living together for 1. We both work full-time, but I also cook, clean, do laundry, grocery shop, handle bills, take care of our cat. He'll sometimes take out the trash or wash a dish, but that's about it. I've brought it up before and he says he'll try to do more, but never really follows through. I don't know who needs to hear this, but if this is the case with your relationship, you need to get out. That's crazy. If y'all work the same hours, you should be dividing up the chores equally. And if somebody doesn't follow through, you need to take that to heart. You can't just expect that to change. Like if you've been living with this guy for a year and he never follows through, that is an indicator of how your life is going to be if you marry that person. If you decide to stay with that person into the long term. Last weekend, we visited his parents for dinner. Out of nowhere, his mom says to me, "So what do you actually do around the house?" Boyfriend's name says you're not really the domestic type. I literally just blinked at her. I laughed awkwardly and said, "Well, if not domestic, you mean I do everything, then sure." She didn't even laugh. He looked embarrassed, but didn't say a word to defend me. On the way home, I asked him what that was about, and he said, "I just mean you don't really enjoy housework." Dude, who does? I was mad. He apologized lightly and said it was just a joke. So I decided to take a little break from his laundry. I stopped doing his clothes completely. Didn't say a word, just folded mine and left his in the basket. A week passed. Then 2. I could see his pile growing. Finally, he asked, "Are you mad again or something? You haven't done my laundry." I just said, "I thought you said I don't do anything around the house, so I figured I'd live up to the label." Now he's saying I'm being petty and immature, and even his mom texted me saying I should let it go already. Yo, if your mother-in-law, or I guess your boyfriend's mother technically, is this involved in your relationship, get the fuck out. Or if she's not, like, "Hey, so I heard my son isn't doing his laundry. I'm coming over to beat the shit out of him." Like, get out of there. Kathy would absolutely demolish me if she knew that I wasn't helping my girlfriend or wife around the house. Unless I was working ungodly hours and it wasn't possible and we had come to some sort of agreement. You should be helping out around the house, period. Also, do you really want a fucking mother-in-law like this? I have said it before and I'll say it again, chat. When you get married, you are marrying that person and you are marrying their family. Make sure their family is a family you want to marry. I told her I'd be happy to let it go right into the washing machine with the rest of his responsibilities. So am I the a-hole? I mean, girl, the only reason you ain't the a-hole is because you haven't broken up with this little bitch yet. It's time for some snip, 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 chop, chop, chop. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, you could just do better. You could find someone who's gonna help you around the house and not go crying to mommy about you not wanting to basically be his mom. Girl, you are his mom. He has an Oedipus complex. Nah, Liz, I think there's no distinction between that. When you marry someone, you marry that person and all the bullshit that comes with them, their family is included in that. I don't think there's a distinction. It's the same shit. You marry someone and all of a sudden their family problems and their family dynamics become your family dynamics. Expecting someone you live with to do everything a partner or parents do is fucking ridiculous. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if I marry a girl who can cook, I would be like, I will forever and always do the dishes so that I don't have to cook because I fucking suck at it. I'm really bad. I'm not good at cooking. That's not my thing. That's where I'm like, I want my wife to cook for me if she can, not because I want her to be domesticated or anything like that, but genuinely because I suck at it. And like, also we would be cooking together, maybe, like I'd be helping too, but like I'd be down to take the load of like whatever else she thinks is fair for me to not have to cook. Am I the a-hole for basically telling my in-laws this is my house? If you don't like my rules, get out. First off, I don't think I was wrong, which has infuriated my girlfriend. I, 25, recently moved in my house. My girlfriend, 27, and I had a little housewarming. Her family, my mother, and a few of our friends. We were eating outdoors and the kids had their own table. My girlfriend's nephew ate, knocked over a jug of dilute. I don't know what dilute is. I'm guessing it's like some sort of juice. I was at the table when it happened and it was clearly an accident. He was very polite and apologized. He was a little upset, but I just laughed it off. His father came over and I was shocked at how much his father gave out to him. I told him it was only an accident, etc., and he kept going. I felt really guilty for not stopping it. He ran over to the corner of the garden and started crying. His father went back to the table and he said what happened, and his wife said he deserved that. He should stay there a long time or something along those lines. There was almost a... I know that's not, but like too close. Is that a word? Isn't it spelled like S-N-I-C-K-E-R? It's UK English? Ugh, I don't like that. There was almost a snicker from some of her family. You British people fucking crazy, y'all. What are y'all saying out there? That's wild. Anyway, I went over to the boy a couple minutes later. I gave him a bar of chocolate. He was still crying. He said sorry again. I gave him a high five and taught him this high five I used to do as a kid. Sorry, I didn't address it because I was just so thrown off by this. But like, why get mad at a kid for knocking over some juice? Like, it ain't that serious, bro. I don't have a kid. I guess, I don't know. Maybe I'm underqualified for this, but I just feel like if he knocks over a drink, it isn't enough to like berate the kid. Like, that's how you raise a kid with fucking serious mental issues, by yelling at them over spilt dilute, whatever the fuck that is. His mother came over and said, "Do you mind not talking to my son? He needs to think about what he did wrong and he needs to do that alone." I took her and her husband aside and said, "This is my house. If you want to upset your kid, don't do it here. If you don't like it, get out." I swear the reaction that followed was insane. They went back to the table saying it. My mom said, in parentheses, never holding back, "Didn't I raise a great son? He's spot on not to let bullies in his house," which erupted it even more. Damn, I mean, fire, but that mom just like threw a grenade into an already out of control bonfire. My girlfriend spoke to me in private and asked me to apologize to them. I said no. I stand by what I said, and this part I regret a bit. I told her I think less of her for even asking me to apologize. No. Don't regret that. I actually agree with that. This is your partner that you potentially might spend your future with. If your partner is okay with that treatment of a child, how do you think she's going to treat your guys' children? If that's something that you want to do. And also, just in general, how do you think she treats other people? Like, that is just unacceptable treatment. A mate of mine and his son kicked ball with the boy and I. He actually gave me a hug. I don't do hugs. At the end of the party and said sorry again. He hugged so tightly for a couple of seconds. Yo, this is a red flag, low key. Like, what are they doing to this kid behind the closed doors? I really could go on about the drama, but in short, her family thought I was wrong. I was getting little digs, etc. My girlfriend's friend came up privately and said I was right to step in. I mean, cool, but also a little cowardly not to be like doing that in front of the family. Like, strength in numbers for sure. My girlfriend is still pushing for me to apologize. I still don't think I did anything wrong. I didn't tell them how to parent, but I told them to leave if that's how they want to parent. If I'm being completely honest, I didn't say this, I'm not sure I'd want a kid with a family like that. aggro over spilled effing flavored water. Okay. Yeah, I'm guessing it's like some sort of like Kool-Aid or like powdered drink of some sort. I mean, I'm going with not the a-hole. I mean, not only is it his house, his rules, but also I'm actually worried for this kid. Like, if they could do that over something so little in front of other people, like, what are they doing to this kid in general, y'all? I would be very seriously reconsidering if you want to stay with this girlfriend. I think that's big no-no. Mistreatment of children and animals is always a deal breaker. I mean, even just mistreatment of people in general. I do really stand by the server method. Like, how your partner treats a server is very important. Or even just talks about people in general. Like, don't get me wrong, gossip is gossip. But if they're just like talking shit about people for existing, I think that's a huge red flag. Hot take. People who get mad over every little interaction that they have, I think that's a red flag. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand getting like a little upset at little things here and there. Like driving. Like, if you're driving and someone's doing something stupid, yeah, sure, whatever. But if you like are coming home and like ranting about how some guy like cut you off and like you're allowing that to affect you emotionally to a very high level, I think that's a huge red flag. I can't be with somebody who's angry all the time. It would not be compatible. Like, don't get me wrong, I get angry when it makes sense. Like, my hovering point where I am normally operating is right at like happy. Like, I'm pretty like, you know what, I'm gonna live my life and like be happy when I can, but I still get mad at like the shit that needs to get mad at. There are some people who operate at that angry all the time level, and I don't think I fuck with those people very heavily. I think it is a little bit of a red flag. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife we either share our lotto winnings or we separate and I get half anyway? Advice needed. My wife and I are extremely fortunate to have won a decent amount of money from lotto recently. It wasn't the top prize, but it was enough to pay off our sizable mortgage and still have some left for vacations. The mortgage was by far our biggest weekly cost, and with that gone, we could both comfortably cut our hours back at work to only school hours and spend some more time with our kids. This was always a daydream we spoke about when we bought lotto tickets. I assumed this is what we would both do. When we got the money and paid off our house, almost everything immediately turned bad. My wife started talking about how amazing it's going to be to finally not have to work anymore. I was blindsided by this. Even with the mortgage gone, we would still have to work at least school hours to keep our current standard of living, and on my salary alone, things would be tight. I asked if she was serious, and she said, of course, it was her ticket and she gets to decide. This is BS because we both bought lotto tickets before, and when we moved in together, we only bought one because two seemed like a waste of money. I tried to reason with her, say she could use some of the extra to take some unpaid leave here and there, but she needs to keep her job. When I said, if I'm only working school hours, she absolutely flipped and started accusing me of being a gold digger and ruining this for her. How she deserved it after working so much of her life, etc. I asked her for a pause because I was honestly afraid. She's never been like this before. The next few days, we tried to have this conversation again, but she didn't budge an inch. And when she said, well, it doesn't matter now because I'm putting in my notice at work, I lost it and told her I'm not going through with this. If she's not going to share the winnings, which is under both of our names, I'll divorce her and get half through the house and therefore half the winnings anyways. This started another screaming match where she continued to call me a gold digger. Chat, this might be a hot take, but I feel like you can't call someone a gold digger if you won your money. You just got your money, girl. Like, let's not be throwing around gold digger, okay? I'm absolutely exhausted and lost. I feel like my wife has been replaced by an imposter. I would have preferred not winning if I knew this was going to happen. I'm trying to decide if the divorce thing is like an unnecessary threat, but like, I actually think it is a necessary threat. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a huge fan of using divorce as leverage in a marriage, but like, he's kind of cooking. This money has clearly brought something out in her that was not previously known to OP. This is probably the closest I've been here in terms of like thinking that somebody might be the a-hole, but I do think it's not the a-hole here. If you are married to someone and you win the lottery, it's not I won the lottery, it's we won the lottery. And to be honest, I think the biggest part here is they did not win enough for her to quit her job. It really is just her being extremely selfish and honestly thinking that this money allows for her to put herself and only herself in a situation that benefits her and actually makes her partner's life harder. I think OP should reframe it. I don't think you're divorcing her because of the lotto winnings. You're divorcing her because A, she's turned out to be a terrible person, and B, it's extremely cruel and unusual for her to think that those winnings are only hers, and then on top of that, be willing to use those winnings to only benefit herself and not her entire family, especially her spouse. That's what I'm thinking. Nora, when you get married to someone, I think it all technically becomes we won. If I'm dating somebody and I win $1,000 or something like that, like, it's still my money, but I'm gonna at least like use that money to benefit my partner. Like, I would put half into like an investment account and then use the other half to like buy myself something nice and then maybe go out to a nice dinner. In my opinion, it should be like a we won thing. If you get a raise at your job, job. We got a raise. This is going to benefit both of our lives in a marriage because that's what a fucking marriage means. And if that isn't what a marriage means to you, don't get married. If you don't want to be tied to somebody and you don't want to take into consideration their thoughts and feelings about experiences that you go about in your life, don't get married. Or I guess get someone who's okay with just being a pushover, but like I would argue that somebody who's a pushover isn't ready to be in a relationship. Am I the a-hole for not taking my ex-wife back after she left me for an alpha male? I had been with my ex for 7 years, married for 5. It felt like love at first sight and everything felt so natural when we had met. After about 2 years of dating, we decided to tie the knot. Not soon after, we welcomed our baby boy, 4 male. He was a pandemic baby, so my wife ended up quitting her job while I continued working as a line cook and started doing Uber Eats on the side. After things went a bit back to normal, my wife told me she doesn't want to be one of those women who lose their passion after settling down. So she went back to finish law school and take her bar. Of course, I wholeheartedly supported her and we tried to make it work. After she passed, oh my God, I thought that meant she died. She passed the bar. After she passed the bar, she immediately got hired at a firm downtown through the help of her friend Dumbo, 33 female. This is where the problem started. From the get-go, my wife began making good money. Good enough that she told me to quit my job and take care of our son full time, as she won't have the time. I said no. I loved my job. Cooking was my passion, and I even worked my way up to full-fledged chef. My biggest regret in our marriage had to have been her talking me into leaving. But I did and became a stay-at-home dad. Slowly, our marriage life began deteriorating as she started to pull away. She'd work long hours and barely spend any time with us. She'd go out drinking to network with her work colleagues on weekends, sometimes even going out of town. At home, she'd always just be pissy with me. It's like her personality did a complete 180. This wasn't the sweet, nurturing girl I fell in love with all those years ago. Our intimacy became almost non-existent. After going through therapy, I can now see that I am to blame as well. I should have communicated better and shared how I felt. Luckily, the highlight through this was my son. Seeing him grow and being there for a lot of his firsts made everything feel like it'll be okay. One day, she finally came up to me and asked for a divorce. I wasn't surprised. I felt everything was eventually going to lead up to this, but I still didn't want to give up. I asked if she's sure about this or if she wants to make it work. I recommended couples counseling or temporary separation. She declined both those offers and told me she found someone else. Hearing this shattered me. Her changing and us growing apart, I can understand. But never once would I have thought that she would be the type to even entertain other men. She told me it's some partner at her firm. Haha, when did my life become a Korean rom-com? She told me that he invited her out a couple of times and showed her the life of luxury she deserved. We argued for a bit and she told me that he is twice the man as me. She called me feminine for being a stay-at-home dad while his wife was working hard and bringing home the money. What? It was your idea. I mean, you're the one who literally told him he should quit his job. And what about me working 2 jobs during the pandemic? To her, those weren't real jobs. It was a delivery driver and a cook. Wow. I mean, it probably doesn't help that she's a lawyer, but like, hey, yo, bro, you get half of her lawyer earnings. Like, I mean, this girl didn't even sound like a great partner in general. If anything, I think it might be a good thing that she pushed for the divorce with OP. Because to be honest, OP should have pushed for the divorce. If someone's treating you as dog shit as this wife is treating OP, bro, just cut your losses. Like, there are people out there who will fucking actually be a good person to you. She told me this new guy is an alpha male who knows a woman's needs and how to take care of her. She bragged about how tall and muscular he is, how he has a real job, and took her on weekend getaways that she told me were work-related. And here's the kicker. He's such a man, he doesn't want to make things official until me and her are separated. Wow, what a stand-up guy. Even though he cheated with a woman who had a husband and a son, none of that matters because he waited to make it official. Oh, chivalry is real, chat. I almost laughed at how delusional my ex had become. I asked her what about her son, and she said, I can have him. He likes me better anyways. I think this hurt the most. I couldn't believe she said that about her own son, throwing him away like he's some object. For the first time, I couldn't recognize the person in front of me. I won't lie, I did let the anger get the best of me and said some hurtful things back. I could tell she was taken aback by this, probably because I almost never get that angry. She turned around and left. After she left, I cried my eyes out for 2 weeks hoping she'd call and come back. I don't know. I didn't love her anymore, but life without her felt so scary. The only thing that kept me going was my son. I knew I couldn't turn to the bottle or go down this dark path because of him. I managed to beg for my job back and they rehired me for some weeknights only, which was better than nothing. I spent the next couple of months just putting my head down and working in silence. The divorce proceedings were moving quickly, and before I knew it, it was official. The worst part about this was I felt like I had no support system. On social media, everyone was praising her for being this strong, independent woman who broke free of some metaphoric shackles. Like I was some villain holding her back. And not a single person messaged me on how I'm doing. And thank God they didn't, because this is what made me want to try therapy, and I haven't looked back since. For all those that are unsure about therapy, I'm telling you it works. Okay, wait, hold on. That's fucking crazy. I'm just making assumptions here based off of the way that OP has acted so far. I have a feeling OP let the wife, or I guess ex-wife, control the narrative here, because anybody hears your side of the story and they're like, oh my God, this bitch crazy. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm glad you got into therapy. I'm glad this pushed you to therapy, but I hope your therapist is also telling you, like, bro, in your next relationship, let's communicate. Let's stand up for yourself. And also, I know he was like, I let the anger get the best of me and said some hurtful things back. I feel like if your wife is like, yeah, I basically been cheating on you. Not basically, I have been cheating on you. What the fuck am I saying? I think that's a great reason to get angry and say some mean things to her. Like, I would not blame you. I would probably do the same. I hope someone's telling bro, like, it's okay, dog. It makes sense. Now, fast forward to this week, I received a phone call from an unknown number, and when I picked it up, it was my ex on the other line bawling. She told me how her alpha male boyfriend found someone else and she's too afraid to confront him because he's a partner at her firm. She finally explained her perspective and how everything led up to this point. Basically, my ex admittedly always been really pretty and a social butterfly. After she had our son and the pandemic hit, she felt ugly and insecure, even if I told her she was pretty. So I guess when she got her job, she got the validation she wanted. Of course, feeding into those delusions was Dumbo, who recently had divorced her husband and poisoned my ex's thoughts with how I'm a failure as a man. How my ex is way prettier than me and she deserves someone of her standards. Apparently, I'm a beta male who rolls over and is stopping her from being free. She said a lot more specific stuff too that I think I'll keep to myself here, but it was definitely an eye-opening conversation. I shouldn't have pushed my ex away to be vulnerable enough to listen to Dumbo. I kind of understand, like, taking accountability for things that you fucked up, but, like, I don't think you were pushing her away to listen to Dumbo. Like, I think she would have done this regardless. Like, I understand what he's going through here, because he seems to be very, like, oh, I went to therapy and realized the wrong things that I did in the relationship. And sure, maybe he's not giving us full context here, but, like, even if you were doing that, that doesn't justify cheating. That doesn't justify listening to a friend who's preaching some alpha male, beta male bullshit and basically affirming that it's okay to cheat on your partner just because of said alpha male or beta male bullshit. Don't get me wrong, y'all. I'm very like, you know what? There are some things in life that I think you can just take accountability for that, like, maybe the full thing isn't your fault, but you had a hand in. And, like, yeah, maybe he had a hand in it, but bro, we're on your side here. I hope he knows that. Whether or not she was vulnerable enough to listen to Dumbo, I'm just on the wave that OP's ex is fucking dumb. Like, hey, if you're feeling ugly and insecure, you should probably talk to the person who makes you feel not ugly and not insecure about it, aka your husband you had a child with. Or go get a therapist. Don't go to, like, this fucking person. I understand being vulnerable and, like, insecure and feeling ugly, but the answer to that isn't to listen to some dog shit rhetoric. Like, I'm almost uncomfortable with how much OP is taking accountability here, if that makes sense. But still, after hearing all this, I was really just disappointed more than anything that she would be stupid enough to throw away everything on some whim and peer pressure. My ex asked me if we could try again. She told me how much she misses me and how she took me and all I did for her for granted. For example, I always made her lunch in the morning, made sure she was up to date with her pills, and so on. She misses those little things. I admit to telling her that I missed her too, and I know our son does for sure, but she did make every decision herself. And what if things worked out with the other guy? I'm not some consolation prize she can come running back to. She cried and told me that she wanted me back a week after she left, but was too prideful to call. I firmly told her no and hung up. Since then, my phone's been blowing up from my friends and family that I'm heartless, that my wife was vulnerable and taken advantage of, and instead of picking up the pieces and helping her, I'm leaving her to fend for herself. Not gonna lie, that message hurt the most. Yeah, this right here just makes me feel like this is rage bait, low-key. I saw it in chat. Some people were saying that it's like chat GPT. This to me is fucking stupid. Either this is fake or you have the most dog shit friends and family ever. Like, no way they're hearing, oh, your wife cheated on you with another man and wanted to abandon her child, but she was vulnerable and taken advantage of. Wee-woo, you should forgive her. Like, there's no way that's real. Either you're surrounded by the most brain dead people in the world or this is fake. I respect her father a lot, so I heard him out. He wants me to come over for a resolution/intervention this weekend and bring my son. They just want a conversation to hear both sides and see if it really is resolvable. I'm attending, but I'm going to stay firm with my answer. Not all the recent messages have been making me rethink my stance. I just want to make sure I'm not in the wrong before I attend. If this is real, not the a-hole, you should definitely not take your wife back. I really like what he said about him not being a consolation prize. If she can't pick you forever and always, whether you're a cook/DoorDash driver or a stay-at-home dad that she fucking recommended, like, that's on her, bro. She made the bed that she's sleeping in and you need to make her fucking sleep in it. Like, honestly, out of anything, OP, if you can't do this for yourself, do it for your fucking kid. Any parent who is like, fuck my kid, I want nothing to do with him, does not deserve to be in that child's life even an ounce. Not even 1% of their life. That is heinous activity. To create a child and then say, you know what? Nah. Heinous activity. If this is real, I hope you're taking 50% of her money. Like, I hope you didn't sign a prenup or anything and you're just fucking making her pay eternally for her mistake. Low-key, they should keep it civil for the kid. Absolutely not, Cassie. If I have a kid with a woman and that woman goes, you know what? I don't want this kid anymore. He loves you more. And then she comes crawling back. I'm gonna make sure that kid knows damn well that his fucking mommy decided that living a life of luxury was more important than being in her child's life. I'm sorry. There is no keeping it civil. I'm raising that kid being like, yeah, your mom's a piece of shit. That's not how you mother. I think that's so dog shit. If they were co-parenting the kid, sure, maybe there's some civility to keep there. But she abandoned that child. Absolutely not. Am I the a-hole for being angry my tax refund paid off my husband's child support? My husband and I filed our taxes jointly this year and for the past 2 years. I was completely unaware that he had $7,000 in unpaid child support. I thought he was making regular monthly payments. We were expecting a refund, but only $175 was deposited. I felt blindsided, violated, and taken advantage of. When I brought this up, he dismissed my feelings and told me I should be grateful the child support is now paid off because it means he can contribute more money each month. That logic doesn't make sense to me. His child is still under 18, so he still has to make ongoing payments regardless. I feel physically ill. He is not supportive of how I'm feeling whatsoever and is actually angry at me for how I'm responding. What is this logic? I don't really understand it. Like, girl, I mean, not only is your husband a fucking dog shit father and a dog shit partner, but he also just sounds fucking stupid. Girl, why is we still with him? Why did you even get married to him? This guy sounds like a fucking moron. Girl, you really scraped the bottom of the barrel with this one. I genuinely think you found the absolute crustiest smegma that had been rotting at the bottom of this barrel for years. And that is the man that you chose to become your husband. What is we doing the fuck? There's also an update here, guys, that you're gonna have to help me understand. They put update, injured spouse form is in the mail. I had to physically mail it. It couldn't be electronically filed. I'm gonna have to Google this. I actually have no clue what this is. The injured spouse on a jointly filed tax return files Form 8379 to get back their share of joint refund when the joint overpayment is applied to a past due obligation of the other spouse. Oh, okay. So they're gonna get the money back that the government took to pay the child support. I see. I mean, still, dude, I don't think you want to be with someone this fucking dumb. That would be such an ick for me. I'm making an assumption here, but I'm guessing OP is the one who makes most of the money here, and therefore it's like mostly OP's money that's getting taken and put towards this $7,000 worth of unpaid child support. Girl, just get out. What are we doing? Why are we still there? I don't know who needs to hear this, but there are better men out there. They're probably hard to find, but I promise you they're there. Feels like he's just using her. Stark, I almost wonder if that's the case. Like, I want more background information here because I want to know, like, did he push for this marriage so that he would have a second income to help fund his child support? I genuinely would not be shocked if that was the case. If I had to put money on it, Chad, he has to be a fucking bum. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband he can't use a pro-Trump / MAGA pharmacy? My husband has been out of work since 2019 and is on my healthcare insurance plan. He's a Republican, but not a MAGA diehard. Okay. Recently, he expressed a desire to move all of our prescriptions to a small local pharmacy in the town we live in. I said I would not be moving my prescription there because they were pro-Trump and hardcore MAGA. Signs in their parking lot. The owner, who is also the pharmacist, expresses vocal support on social media. My husband got mad and said, fine, we'll move just mine then. I told him as long as he was covered by my insurance, which I pay for out of my paycheck, to the tune of $382 a month, he would not transfer his prescriptions there either. My feeling is that he's on my insurance, which I pay for, so I get to choose which businesses I support. Am I the a-hole? I mean, no, you're not the a-hole. I agree, bro. It's your insurance, your money. I'm more like raised eyebrow because I'm like, why the fuck? Like, I need to know more information about this husband for me to decide if he's even worth staying with. He's been out of work since 2019. It doesn't sound like you have kids. What is he doing all day? Is he helpful around the house or is he playing video games? He's a Republican, but not MAGA. I also still think that's a red flag. Like, I low-key think he's probably pro-Trump. He's just afraid to tell you. Little fishy. I think not the a-hole. I'm not like trying to encourage encourage financial abuse, but it actually makes it harder for them to transfer over their prescriptions. It's not more convenient. It's not like he can only get the prescriptions at this place. It's that he wants to support them, and you said, no, this is my money that I work hard for. I do not want to support them. Because I think that's a good distinction. Like, if this was a case where, like, the husband absolutely needed a prescription that could only be filled at this hardcore MAGA pharmacy, then yeah, I do think it's wrong. If he has to actively go out of his way to support it, fuck that. No, this is what I was wondering, Katana. I think he's like secretly a little Trumpy boy. Wow, this person just be posting rocks and shit. Oh, r/shit from a butt. Why is this person so obsessed with r/shit from a butt? What the fuck? My ex dumped me in January after 9 years together because he didn't think I was wife material. Now he reached out wanting to talk because he needs to get something off of his chest. We have a 27 female OP, 26 male ex. Originally posted to r/am I the a-hole and r/advice. Original post April 8th, 2025. I was with my ex, who I will call Nate, because if I'm being honest, minus betraying a friend, I was a Cassie. Editor's note, I believe this is a Euphoria TV reference. I don't watch it, but that's what Google says. This has no bearing on the story. I'm guessing it has something to do with how Cassie and Nate got together. I have never watched Euphoria. Low-key, don't really fuck with Euphoria like that because it kind of glorifies drugs a little bit more than I'm happy with. I don't want to go too much into the details, but for the last 9 years, I lost myself to Nate. He was my world. Everything I did was for him. I helped him through depression, helped get/keep his grades up, even worked 2 jobs so he could focus on college when his parents disowned him for nearly 3 years because they didn't agree with the major or college he chose. Bear in mind, I was also a college student. When his parents started talking to him again and started to financially support him, we moved into a new apartment. Nate said he wanted me to quit my job. I didn't, because it was his turn to take care of me. For 16 months, everything was great. He spoiled me. Then, I noticed he was more interested in his new friends. At times, he ignored me completely. Back in December, he did a 180 and he love-bombed me the whole month. He really went out of his way to make Christmas magical for me. I honestly believed he was going to propose. On January the 2nd, he made me my favorite dinner and made this speech about me being his first love, how I've been there since high school. I kept thinking any minute now, he's gonna ask me to marry him. But no. He dumped me as his speech went on. My world. Wait, hold on. What? That is fucking insane to do. Wow. What an absolutely diabolical thing to do to somebody. Also, chat, I'm calling it now. Bro definitely cheated. But no, he dumped me. As his speech went on, my world fell apart. And as much as he tried to sugarcoat it, he basically said, you were a good girlfriend, but that's what you will always be to me. A girlfriend. I don't see you as my wife or the mother of my children. Blah, blah. You served your purpose now. I don't need you anymore. Blah, blah. I need someone on my level. Blah, blah. You're a gold digger. Blah. I'll give you 30 days to move out. Holy shit, bro. A simple, I don't love you anymore, we should end our relationship would have sufficed. You didn't need to fucking dig a grave for her 10 feet under, push her in, topple the dirt on top of her, and then piss on the grave, bro. That is what he did. Oh my God. That's fucking evil. That's so mean. I couldn't speak and he stared at me looking for a response. I think this lasted 20 minutes before he said he'd sleep in the guest room, then left. Strangely, I didn't cry or get angry. I just ordered cardboard boxes online, then went to bed. The next day, I waited for him to leave the apartment before I left my room. Then I called my boss and asked, begged really, if I could transfer anywhere. She told me there wasn't anything, but if something came up in my department, she'd consider me. I then reached out to everyone I knew that wasn't also Nate's friend for a place to stay. My cousin invited me to stay in her spare room for as long as I needed, and I could move in straight away, so that was amazing. In the 4 days it took me to pack my stuff and move out, I didn't see or speak to Nate. I doubt he even noticed. I didn't trust myself at the time to ignore a "you up" text, so I blocked him and everyone close to him. I even changed my number/email to make sure he couldn't reach me. The first night at my cousin's was the first night everything hit me, I think. I cried every night the first month. I honestly felt like shit. I thought about what Nate said over and over again. It made me feel so low, like I was nothing. He only stayed with me because I was just there, but thankfully my cousin sent for my mom. other cousins, and real friends to give me an intervention, which I badly needed. I believe that first month, I wouldn't have made it without my cousin. Oh my God. I'm still healing and waiting on that job transfer because I feel like I'm not in the same city as Nate, and I have a place of my own. The fresh start would do me a world of good. I thought by now I'd be a distant memory for Nate, but shockingly, he sent flowers to my job today for my birthday, which was on Sunday. Apparently, he went to my parents' house looking for me too, and my mom admitted he's been dropping off stuff before and tried to ask questions about me, but they told him to fuck off. The flowers came with a card saying, "Dear Cassie, happy belated birthday. I've been thinking about you nonstop for the last few months, especially with how everything ended. I need to get something off my chest that I feel will haunt me for the rest of my life if I don't tell you this to your face, but I have no way of contacting you. If it's possible, can we meet up in the near future? Nate." What could he want? What's haunting him he needs to say to my face? Everyone in my life is telling me to ignore him, but they hate him. I'm torn, but I can't lie. My curiosity is telling me meet him to see what he wants. Has anyone been in my shoes or in Nate's? Bro, he's gonna tell you that he cheated. Or he wants to get back together, but I think it's cheated. Just the way that he phrased it, I think he's like, oh, wee woo, I feel bad about what I did. I need to come clean for myself. Bro, I've literally fucking been in this situation. This person like apologized to me about something, and the little peacekeeper inside of me was like, you know what? I'm just gonna say I forgive them just to make them feel better. Now I look back at that shit, and I should have been like, fuck you. Get blocked, bitch. Like, that's what I want OP to do. Figure out where he lives and send the flowers back, stamped out, burnt to a crisp, and a letter with a photo of you going like this. That's what I want, bro. We're not keeping the peace. Step on Nate's throat. I bet it's something that make him feel better and her feel worse. This man is so self-involved. He is 100% only doing this for him, not for her. Let it haunt him forever. I agree, bro. You do not owe him any of your time. Do not give him any of your energy. He's already sucked away so much of it. Some relevant comments here. Top comment. Not gonna lie, I didn't read all of that. I just wanted to say, just because he needs to say something doesn't mean you need to hear it. I doubt it's anything that would add value to your life. He's likely wanting to alleviate guilt for some long ago trespass. OOP, my cousin thinks he tried to monkey branch and it didn't work out. Editor's note, monkey branching means he was already emotionally connecting, at least, with someone else before breaking up with OP. Commenter, seems like he cheated on you back in December before the love bombing. Now this dumbass cheater is probably engaged to the affair partner, hence the wife material comment. Fuck him. Let him implode that relationship just like he imploded yours. He's not a good human, and he's trying to make himself feel better about something. He doesn't deserve that, and he doesn't deserve your time or energy. OOP, you know what's pathetic? If he cheated and told me that was the reason he was breaking up with me, I don't think it would have hurt me as much. Low key, yeah. If he would have just said that he cheated on her, that's way better than the shit that he fucking said. This is some shit that you say to destroy someone's soul. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure it doesn't feel good to be told that you got cheated on, but by God, is this arguably worse. So someone said to get checked for STDs. OOP said, I didn't think of that. Now I'm panicking. This commenter also said, let your job know to turn him away if he shows up. The last thing you need is him stalking you. I would say that's a good idea as well. Someone wanted a clarification on, is he blocked everywhere? OP replied, blocked on social media and my accounts are set to private. New number and his number is blocked and deleted. I didn't trust myself for the first few weeks because back in January, you up text would have had me running barefoot at 2 a.m. Yo, we love the self-awareness, OP. Mini update in comments, April 9th, 2025, next day. He came to my work today looking for me during lunchtime. I told the receptionist say I was out and caught a ride home with a coworker so I wouldn't meet him if he planned to run into me by accident. Yo, this is fucking whack behavior, bro. That's some creepy shit. Like, low-key, someone or OP needs to yell at him and tell him to get the fuck away. Update post, April 14th, 2025, 5 days after this mini update and 6 days from the original post. So we ended up meeting, and no, I didn't go to him. I had told the receptionist at my work if he came looking for me, just say I'm out for the day after he showed up once. I didn't want the drama of him around my job. So Nate just kept going to my usual places, like the grocery store I go to every Saturday evening, or the park I ran at Sunday mornings. His words, till he would eventually run into me. Yo, I don't know who needs to hear this, but don't do that. That's fucking creepy. Stalker behavior. And he did. Yesterday, he was waiting at the coffee shop I go to after my morning run. When I saw him, I tried to do a turnaround and leave, but he kept calling me. So I thought to myself, if everything went wrong, a coffee shop would be safer than my walk home. So I just sat down and asked him what he wanted. He gave an apology that wasn't an apology. You know, the type with, I'm sorry, but, and pity me. He blamed his mental health, his job, his parents, his friends, everyone but himself. I took someone's advice on here and said, cut the crap, I already know everything. He genuinely looked shocked and stared at me for a second. I guess he thought his coworker already told me everything, so he couldn't lie. Here's what really happened. He fell for a girl in his office. When he told me her name, I knew her immediately. I've met her a few times. He told me for the last 2 years, he idolized her. To be fair, she's beautiful with an amazing personality, and he hated me because I was the one stopping them from being together because his coworker was too classy to be a side piece. When he broke up with me, he confessed to her that he was madly in love with her, and he ended a 9-year relationship to be with her. Well, here's where it gets funny. She doesn't even like him, LOL. She called him a piece of trash and told him if he ever spoke to her outside of work, she'd report him to HR. So I asked him, what has any of this got to do with me? Like, we are over. I clearly cut ties. There's no reason for us to speak. He wants to try again. Promised we'd get married before the year ends. That we belong together. I told him, no. I'm nobody's second choice. He threw me away after 9 years and said some pretty cruel things to me, and now he thinks if he snaps his fingers, I'll come running back. He tried to beg and had fake tears. He tried bringing up the good times in our relationship. Fucking hilarious that this girl wasn't even fucking into him. It wouldn't have been good even if she was into him. That being said, it feels so much better that this girl was like, you're a fucking piece of trash, stay away from me. What a dumbass for thinking, oh yeah, bro, you know what I'm gonna do now? I'm gonna go to the girl that I ended things for the other girl and tell her, you know what? We're gonna be married within the year. Like, this dude is delusional. Like, does this guy walk around thinking that every woman ever wants to sleep with him because his shit don't stink? That's literally the vibe I'm getting from him. He's just like, oh dude, any girl wants to fucking sleep with me. My fucking dick is so big and I'm so fucking cool. Like, it pains me to know that people like this actually exist. Let's fucking send them to a mental asylum so we can study their narcissist ass brains. Give them a lobotomy ASAP Rocky. I told him to please leave me alone as he wasted too much of my time already. I texted my cousin to meet me at the coffee shop. He kept saying nonsense, even suggested if I went to couples counseling for a few months, he'd leave me alone. The 20 minutes it took for my cousin to arrive, it felt like 20 years. That's a fucking threat. If you just do the thing that I want you to do for me, I'll leave you alone. Girl, I hope you're recording this conversation. If a fucking crazy ex ever rolls up to you and wants to have a conversation with you after literally stalking you, record the conversation. I don't know legally what you have to do so. I think you probably have to let them know. Although I actually think there is a way where you don't have to let them know. I don't know. Still, bro, record that shit. In the end, I just stopped listening and stood at the counter making small talk with baristas till my cousin arrived. She told him to fuck off, and if he tried to follow us, she'd call her brothers. He stayed in the coffee shop as far as I know, and we just went home. That's it. It's only been a day, but I feel like it's over and I'm free of him. I hope bro fucking picked up what OP was putting down, but I just feel like someone like this is not going to. That's fucking scary. Okay, let me look at some of these comments. Okay, someone basically saying you're being stalked, change your routine. You dodged a bullet. People basically saying, I hope your job has an opening in another city. Me too. Wow, that's fucking terrifying, bro. That man is not mentally stable. Get as far away as you can. Listen, I would not bet money on this guy leaving you alone. I really wouldn't. I think this guy's fucked up in the head. That's wild. If a crime is being committed, it is legal to record. That is so good to know. Yeah, for real. He left a 9-year relationship for like something that he didn't even get confirmation. That's insane. But what do we expect from a dumb man, you know? Am I the a-hole for refusing to apologize for slapping my boyfriend when he smashed our birthday cake to my face? Our birthday cake? My female 34, boyfriend Charles, male 38, and I celebrate our birthdays together. This year, I contributed a small private room at a restaurant, and we invited 11 people. 4 of them are my local friends. The rest are his family members. I wanted to celebrate a new achievement in my career and thought it would be great to just splurge a little and get some delicious food. So we had access to the menu, drinks, and our cake. I had agreed to pay for a half of the food aside from having rented the small space myself. The space was paid for in advance. The food at the end, as in any restaurant. Okay, that makes sense. We had issues last year because I felt that he was doing low effort things while I always did my best to give him a nice birthday celebration. We have an income gap, but it wasn't even about the money. I was making less money last year and I still made things work for him. Wait, so he made more money, but he gave you a worse birthday. Is that what you're saying? The income gap doesn't even matter in that point. So this year he took care of inviting people, paid for the cake, and got me a spice rack as a present, which I loved. I made myself pretty, got my brows and eyelashes done, and had my hair done. We were told to pose and pretend to blow the candles because I didn't want to blow our germs on the cake. Then we each had a picture alone with the cake. When it was my turn, I was holding the cake when he pushed my face towards the cake. so I tried to fight it. His family started cheering and he arched over my body and forced me to bend over until my face smashed the cake. My friends tried to get him off of me, and he resorted to plastering cake and frosting on my hair. I don't need to describe the mess because I'll never be able to end this post, but I ended up slapping him when he attempted to do it again. His mother got up and she got into an argument with one of my guests. I had to cross the main floor with cake all over my face to use the restroom. When I looked in the mirror, I had cake on my neck, and my blouse had red and blue coloring that didn't come off. I had to wash my face and got my hair in a bun because it looked less messy that way. I've never understood this, y'all. I know that in some, like, Hispanic families, I think, it's like a tradition to, like, put someone's face in a cake, but, like, I don't know if this is, like, culturally insensitive, but I think there are some things that need to die, and that is one of them. On someone's birthday, where it's supposed to be, like, the one day out of the year where it's all about them, nobody wants their face smashed into a cake. I'm sorry. I don't want that, and a birthday's not even that big of a deal to me. But by God, if someone smashed my face into a cake on my birthday, I'd be fucking pissed. I would be so upset. It's just like disrespectful, rude. She clearly didn't want it, dude. Like, it would be funny if she thought it was funny, but she clearly did not. When I came back, his family were all long faces. I told him that what he did was unacceptable, and he said it was just a joke, that everyone has done that for ages, and that me slapping him just ruined my image in front of his family. I started crying and gathering all my stuff to leave. I notified him that he should pay for himself and his guests. My friends insisted on paying for their own food, but I refused, and we ended the night right there. My friends wanted to treat me to having dinner elsewhere, but I wasn't comfortable with my appearance. They ended up sending me the money that I spent, and that broke my heart. Charles had to pay for half of the remaining bill and got charged a cleaning fee. Good, fuck him. I'm sure that was super messy. I still love him, but I'm clear that I'll never be able to forgive him. We talked about it and I ended things. He's convinced that I never loved him. Typical man behavior. Oh, wee woo. I fucked up and did something to you that caused you to break up with me. Therefore, you never loved me. Hey man, maybe she didn't want to put up with a piece of shit. He acknowledged what he did was wrong, but is adamant that his family hates me for slapping him and that it's my fault. I mean, your family's fucking stupid. I don't know what to tell you, bro. If my family saw me do that and then get slapped afterwards, my family's an L family if they didn't give my girlfriend a high five for slapping me because I decided to do that. That is just a dog shit family. You probably dodged a bullet there. I told him that he ruined not only our birthday, but also my way to celebrate my career milestone. I've worked very hard to get where I am, and that his behavior showed me what my future will look like. And then I'm sorry to say it, but he was so aggressive and so focused on making his family laugh at my expense that I just realized he's not good enough, and that I've lost my confidence to be seen with him in public because I don't know what else he will pull out of his ass. He says he paid for that cake, that he's not saying that it was okay to smash it, but it's not like I paid for everything. He wanted me to apologize to his mom, but I refused. Yeah, fuck his mom. Important. I'm not proud of my reaction. We've never had any physical altercation. No. Here's the thing, bro. You were pushed to that. It's the same thing with this kid reacting the same way that he reacted to the substitute teacher touching him. Think about it like if someone in public walked up to you and smashed a cake in your face, they would absolutely deserve to be slapped because that is literally physically assaulting somebody just with an object. I think OP is perfectly okay in doing that. I look at this as self-defense. I'm not proud of my reaction. We've never had any physical altercations. He says his mom feels humiliated because of what I did and that she has been struggling with mild depression for years. I didn't know and I came off as violent. Yeah, tell his mom to suck it up, and she's probably fucking depressed because she raised a dog shit son. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy and his mom. Am I the a-hole for refusing? I already blocked him. Edit, his guest paid for the other half of his bill after being told they needed to not pay for anything. Yeah, bro, I'll die on this hill. I don't think OP did anything wrong. Everything is deserved in this. Not only for OP's boyfriend, but his family too. I just wish somebody could tell the mom how much of a piece of shit she was. Also, I get mental health sucks, but like, I feel like that's weaponizing your mental health. Oh, wee woo. I'm struggling with mild depression for years, and that came off as violent. Therefore, you should feel bad for defending yourself against my son embarrassing you. Shut the actual fuck up. Don't get me wrong. Depression sucks. I don't want anybody to deal with that. That being said, don't fucking weaponize it to make somebody else feel bad about doing the right thing. If I'm wrong for it, I'll die on that hill. Yes, no, dude, I've seen these videos, Lady Morgaine. They're terrifying. People have literally had their eyes poked out because they accidentally leave the stick in the cake. OP is better than me. I would have done worse, to be honest. Honestly, I think OP should have done worse. If you're gonna embarrass somebody at a party, just ice them. Y'all know what I'm talking about? The Smirnoff ices where you have to chug it. That's my go-to. And it's not even that embarrassing. It's just fun. It's funny. It's silly goofy. This might be my deep hatred for men. But what is up with dudes wanting to ruin their their girlfriend's birthdays. Like, I don't get it, dude. When I have the love of my life, I'm gonna make sure every birthday's a great birthday for her. Like, I just don't understand these guys that are like, oh, I'm gonna do everything I fucking can to make sure they don't have a good birthday. Like, unless they're treating you like absolute shit or something, there's just, hey, let's just suck it up and make sure we have a good day. I don't know what it is, and it's never the opposite. You never hear guys complaining, oh, wee woo, my girlfriend ruined my birthday. I didn't get to do what I wanted. It's always the guys ruining it for the girls. They can't handle the attention being on her, for real. Lil attention whores. All of them. Am I the a-hole for shouting at a teacher after she took my CIs in class? I don't know what a CI is. Cochlear implant? Like a hearing aid? Are you serious? What? Yo, I don't even need to read this one. Yeah, you shouldn't be fucking taking people's hearing aids. Those bitches are expensive too. What? Before getting into this, a little background information is needed. I, 17 male, was born deaf to a hearing family. My family and I sign at home, but I need to speak while at school as the high school I go to isn't the most accessible or disability friendly. When I was 9, my parents paid for me to get a surgery to receive cochlear implants, CIs, which I only really use when at school or out with my hearing friends that don't sign. I attend a mainstream school, and as I stated, it isn't disability friendly. Now, onto the situation at hand. Yesterday, I was wearing a beanie in class. Now, usually that wouldn't be a problem when it is my normal teacher, but yesterday we had a sub. The beanie I was wearing was covering the transmitter of my CI, while the part that hooks onto my ear was noticeable. I know that there are quite a lot of kids that tend to get in trouble because they'd wear AirPods or whatever devices people use nowadays for music that aren't headphones, mainly because those aren't allowed in classes. Usually my teachers are aware of my CI and know that it is in fact not a music device, so I never have any trouble, but this was a sub teacher. She wasn't aware of my CIs at first. Keep in mind that at first. While doing some assignments, the sub, who we'll call Mrs. K, came up to my desk. I don't know what exactly she thought my CIs were, but she didn't like them. Originally, she questioned me and told me to remove them immediately, or she'd have to write me up. I explained to her, made her very aware that what I was wearing were for me to hear her, and even took off my beanie to show her. She pretty much called bullshit and attempted to take my CIs off. If a teacher put their hands on me when I was in high school, like no teacher should be putting their hands on any student ever. You have a problem with something that the student's doing, they have headphones on, send them to the office. Touching another student is fucking crazy to me, bro. That's actually insane activity. This was an absolute no-no. I, on instinct, slapped her hands away and stood up before starting to lecture her, telling her she has no right to try and take my CIs. After this little stir, I sat back down, thinking that the situation was most likely over. I was wrong. A little bit afterwards, she came up from behind me and literally snatched my CIs from off my head. After this, I got up again and started full on yelling at this lady, telling her that she is not allowed to take assistive devices and threatened to report her. I know in this situation, me getting physical wasn't the right response, but I was scared as hell that she'd break them. So I grabbed her hands and tried to get my CIs back, which I didn't. Even if she was right and these were headphones, this is not an appropriate reaction. If I was the parent of OP, I would be fucking furious. I would go scorched earth until this sub was fired. OP could have thrown hands and I would have been okay with it. Of course, after that, she called the principal in, and me having no clue what the hell was being said, I just straight up told the principal that she took my CIs and isn't giving them back. In the end, I got my CIs back, but obviously due to me putting my hands on a staff member, I got suspended, and my principal said I was in the wrong for the situation. My dad is threatening to report this sub teacher to the administration. I'd be over there throwing hands. That's insane. If my kid got suspended, I would make sure to fucking flame the principal on the news. I would be going to every outlet letting them know, hey, this school just let my kid be fucking touched and harassed by a substitute teacher. And the principal suspended my kid for it. Oh my God. No way. Yes, report all of them. OP is not the a-hole. I am glad there is a small little oh my God, there's 2 updates here. Oh shit, chat, we're in for it. Easiest not the a-hole I've ever read, by the way, guys. I didn't even need to click into it and read it. That's crazy. As soon as I knew what CI meant, I was like, oh, there is 0% ever a reason to take someone's devices that they need to hear what is being said. Sue the school. I genuinely think they have a great case. To be honest, y'all, I would be suing and being like, I could either take you to court and probably win this one, or you could fire this substitute teacher and the principal. That's crazy. To be on the teacher's side in that situation, especially a substitute teacher, I would be horrified if I was a principal, because I'd be like, you can't tell the difference between Coke. What are these? Okay, I need to see these. But these are very different from headphones, right? If you are so stupid that you can't look at this and think, this doesn't look like a normal headphone, you're actually so brain dead. You deserve to be fired and then some. There's no way you look at that and you're like, oh yeah, that's a fucking headphone. Especially when he made as big of a deal as he did about it. Holy shit. I can't believe that. Okay, so we have two updates on this. The small update, which is actually longer than the actual update. This update isn't necessarily on what my parents plan on doing, as I haven't figured out yet, so this will most likely be a short update. I've seen a lot of people asking for my school name and where I live. I will say right now that that will be a no. For my own safety, and also as a minor, sharing that kind of information scares me and might even put me at risk. I don't know, but also as I said above, I want to keep myself anonymous. That being for my own safety and my family's safety. A couple of comments mentioned how I'm probably bigger and stronger than the sub, so I was most likely perceived as intimidating. Okay, who cares? You know what? If there's a time when someone should be intimidated, it's when they're stealing a minor's cochlear implants from their head. Maybe I'm wrong for that, but I think that is a perfectly fine time to be intimidated. This topic actually made me think about that, so for a little information on that, I'm 5'9", and I do in fact work out, so I do understand where some people are coming from when they say I might be intimidating to the sub. Though this information probably doesn't mean much, there you go. Good. She should be scared. 100%, bro. Next, my main purpose for posting this was to get some advice as to what I should do more than if I was the a-hole. In some areas of the situation, I do see that I was in the wrong, while some other areas, I don't think I was wrong. But sometimes your mind can play tricks on you and make you think you did too much. Y'all, is it bad? I don't actually think OP did anything wrong. Like, if I'm OP's parents, I'm taking him out for ice cream and I'm like, hey, yo, this is how we're paying for your college. We're suing the fuck out of this school. Good job, Sonny. Like, that's what I'm doing. One thing I do know about this whole thing is that my parents are going to be confronting the administration and report the teacher, and for my parents reading your comments, the principal as well. Also, they're going to try and get my suspension removed from my record. I also know that my parents are done with me going to a mainstream school because, believe it or not, I've dealt with plenty of similar situations like this with students rather than teachers, and my parents are pretty sick of it. Me as well. So they want me to go to a deaf high school where all of this hopefully won't be a problem. But the issue with that is that there isn't a deaf school in the area I live in, so they're wanting to move. Though with the economy we live in, I don't know how well that would work out. If you have any questions, please let me know. This update was longer than I anticipated, even though it isn't necessarily an update, but rather a quick informative thing about some things I've been seeing in the comments. I'll make sure to give an actual update once I find out what my parents plan on doing regarding lawsuits and all of that. Okay, so less of an update, more of like an edit / here's some more information. I'm just gonna bop to the straight update here because I want to know what happened. So my parents talked to me yesterday about what they plan on doing, but I didn't want to update immediately because I kind of just wanted to process the information first and hang out with my friends. So for starters, a lot of your guys' comments were helpful, so I thank you all for your advice and other helpful suggestions. It helped my parents come up with some ideas of what to do and how to proceed for the future. To start off, my parents do in fact plan on taking legal action against the sub and the school, legal actions against the substitute because of what she did, and then legal actions against the school for not reprimanding her, as well as continuing to let me be bullied throughout the 3 years I've attended the school, regardless of how many times we reported it. I have a couple of friends that will give input about what happened as they were there and saw what happened, so hopefully there isn't any chances of the substitute working at that school again. Bro, I'm curious what the friends did in this situation, because like, I see my deaf friend getting his cochlear implant stolen. I don't care who it is. I am beefing up against those people. Maybe not throwing hands, but definitely being like, no, bro is deaf. You need to give those back right fucking now. I can't bring up specifics, y'all, but I'm pretty sure I've stood up for my friends when I was in high school for a lot less. I put my ass on the line for a lot less, and I still think I was right. Don't get mad at my friends for not sticking up for me. My friends are very quiet and don't like to confront things. Okay, fine. I still think it is a good thing to be able to stand up for your friends, but okay. With further education, my parents don't want me going to a mainstream school anymore, so they're putting me out of the school I've been going to, and then I'm going to do some online work until we move to an area with a deaf school. I've gotten some information, and then I'm going to do some online work until we move to an area with a deaf school. I've gotten some information from people about some deaf schools in the US, so my parents have been looking into those schools. Please, if you have any other information / suggestions about deaf schools within the US, let me know because that'd be great. Due to us taking legal action, this post will most likely be taken down shortly, so I do apologize if this gets deleted. Even though this is an alternate account, I don't want to take any chances with anything getting led back to me or being used against me. This will most likely be my last update. Again, thank you all for the advice you've given and the support. I really appreciate it. I'm glad they're taking some legal action. I'm also glad OP's getting out of that school. That sounds fucking awful. Like, what are schools doing where it's like people are bullying someone for 3 years straight and y'all can't fucking get your shit together and protect the kid? Like, why would that school even, like, oh God, so fucking incompetent, bro. Like, I get it. The school system is flawed because the government sucks and wants to fund our military over our education, but it's just really sad. Of course, they're quiet. She stole your ears. Come on, you can't do that. That's crazy. Here's the thing, y'all. Like, maybe OP could have reacted better, but honestly, the second the sub put their hands on OP, everything goes out the window, bro. If I have kids, I don't want my kids starting shit, but by God, they should finish shit. And that is starting shit. A teacher should never put their hands on another student if it's not absolutely necessary. If that kid is dying or about to be hurt, harmed in any way, shape, or form, sure, fine. That's a good reason. But even if these were just headphones, even that is not a good reason. Send them to the principal's office or have the principal come to the classroom before you put your hands on them. Like, honestly, chat, this wouldn't have even been a problem if this teacher had just asked the principal to come through. The principal would have verified, yes, those are cochlear implants. He gets to wear them. And everything would have been fine. This went downhill because the teacher put their hands on the student. And therefore, OP could have swung and I would still be on OP's side. Because in almost no circumstances, 99% of circumstances, teachers should not put their hands on kids. Am I the a-hole for refusing to babysit my sister's miracle baby after what she did to my dog? Advice needed. So my sister, 32 female, had a baby last year after years of struggling with infertility. We were all happy for her. She called him her miracle baby. And honestly, I didn't mind the attention he got until things got weird. I, 28 female, have a golden retriever named Benny. He's 5. Sweetest boy alive. 10 out of 10 name. Everyone in the family loves him. Even my sister used to until the baby came along. One time I brought Benny over when I visited. He stayed on his mat, didn't bark or even move. The baby started crying and my sister went, I think he's making the baby nervous, and asked me to put him outside in the middle of the winter. I said no and left early. That was strike 1. Next time I saw her, she told me straight up she didn't want Benny around her son because he's a dog. I said, okay, whatever, and stopped bringing him. But I could tell something shifted. Then one day, I was out of town for a weekend, and she begged me to let her stay at my place because hers was getting fumigated. I agreed, thinking it was chill. I come home Sunday night. Benny is hiding under the bed, trembling, looking all scared. I find out she locked him in the laundry room for 2 days straight because he was staring too much, and that made the baby fussy. No food or water bowl, just locked him. I was gonna say, like, she's nervous about a dog around her newborn baby. Fine. Don't put the dog outside, but fine. This is unacceptable. For you to go to somebody else's house and not only not take care of the dog, but also treat the dog very poorly and inhumane, that's fucked. It's not even about the baby anymore. It's about how your sister treats this dog. I lost it. Told her she was never setting foot in my house again and that she was lucky I didn't call animal services. Fast forward a month, she's going back to work and suddenly I'm her first choice for free childcare. Wants me to watch her baby 2 days a week. I said no. She flipped and called me bitter and selfish and said I clearly don't understand what it means to love family unconditionally. Your family is not free childcare for you unless they offer it. I don't know who needs to fucking hear that, but don't have a fucking crotch goblin if you can't take care of it yourself or pay for the childcare. Don't do it. That is your baby that you pushed out of your cooter. Like, even if there wasn't tension between OP and the sister right now, it is not OP's responsibility to take care of your baby whenever you feel like you want OP to watch that baby. Nuh-uh, no way. My mom got involved and said I'm being cruel when I could be helping. But this isn't about a dog. It's about how she treated something I love without remorse and now expects me to drop everything and help her like nothing happened. Yeah, dude, I mean, I don't even think you're the a-hole even if the dog wasn't involved. And since the dog is involved, like, your sister is the devil. That's so selfish and so just evil activities. Yeah, honestly, I say fuck the sister. She treats dogs poorly and has a fucked up idea of how much family should be involved in taking care of her baby. Do I smell low to no contact? Yes, I do. Also, the dog locked up without food or water? Insane. Dude, I would have probably been like, yeah, I'll take care of your baby, but I'm gonna lock it in the laundry room without food or water for 2 days. I wouldn't actually do that, but I would love to see her reaction. I just don't understand family members that expect free childcare. It's not a responsibility, it's a favor. Some people do not understand the difference between that. Just because you have a kid does not mean you are owed the favor of somebody watching your kid. If my sister was ever like, you need to watch my kid 2 days a week because that's what family does, I'd be like, you're on crack cocaine. Ain't no way I'm doing all that. Am I the a-hole for saying no child support, no opinion? I, 17, think I might have to explain how I was born for context. My mom has 2 friends. I'll call them Amelia and Jessica. Jessica's husband cheated on her with Amelia, getting her pregnant, but Jessica forgave them. Then he cheated on her with my mom. Jessica still forgave him and forgave my mom, which makes me think she's probably the most forgiving person on the planet. May this friendship and this love never fucking find me, because what do you mean? Your husband cheated on you with 2 of your friends and you were just like, yeah, sure, whatever. What? What? That's crazy. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Like, that's crazy. Anyways, my mom insisted that Jessica's husband is my father, but he always denies it. Up until several months ago when he realized how much we look alike. So he agreed to a DNA test. Turns out he is my father. So 2 affair children by 2 different women for him. He has been visiting about once a month, but things are still awkward between us. I was reading a romance novel when he told me I'm too young for those books and said I must stop reading them. I told him I won't, but he said I have to listen to him since he is my father. So I said, no child support, no opinion. He seemed pretty stung by it. Was it too much? Girl, I don't even think the child support's the problem. This dude was out of your life for 17 years. To me, it's the parental figures you have in your life, because what the actual fuck did I just read? Like, there's no way OP's mom is a good person. There's no way any of these people in this friend group are good people. 2 of them slept with their close friend's husband. And then, honestly, y'all, I know that technically this friend who's the wife of OP's dad, oh my God, this is so fucking confusing. I know the friend is like the victim, but also, girl, I gotta say, if you let your husband cheat on you twice like that and just let it roll off your back, there's something wrong up here. I don't want to be mean, but I gotta say it, bro. Listen, if someone's cheating on you once, drop the ass. Twice, definitely drop the ass. With your close friends, what the fuck is we doing? Absolutely diabolical work. That is insane activity, bro. My life may be messy, but it will never be this Am I the A-hole story messy. So I am okay with my current situation. Also, why is this man raw dogging everyone? Yes. What is bro doing? Dude, condoms literally cost like $20 for a box. Hot take, if you can't afford condoms, you shouldn't be having sex. What's a 100 pack of condoms on Amazon? 100 count for $16. $16 to wrap your willy 100 times? Yeah, you have no excuse for getting that many people pregnant. You know what costs more than $16? Child support. Well, not for this guy. Apparently, broke dudes love to hit it raw. No, for real. Like, dude, if you're gonna have sex like that, like, fine, but at least fucking wrap it up. You can literally walk into Planned Parenthood every week and just take free condoms from them. It's that easy. You don't even have to pay for it.